Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. So I am doing, this is the hashtag Drop'em78, which is a 78-day challenge to go through one card of a deck every day for 78 days. So I'm on day number 3 and I'm using the Eliphas Levi Tarot. I'm doing a slightly longer video today because I have discovered some things. So even the first couple of days raised a few questions about the Eliphas Levi deck, which I was unable to answer. And I had a bit more time today, so I've done some digging. So this was day 1 there, Ace of Pentacles or coins, and then this was day 2, the 2 of Pentacles, and we're now on day 3. So one question that's come up, I've had already quite a bit of help on through comments from people on YouTube. So one question that's come up is around the numbering system. So yeah, the number 77 on the Ace of Pentacles, for example, was the same as the Ace of Pentacles in the Atea deck, but then this number looks like 73 on the 2 of Pentacles or coins. So I wanted to know why. And then underneath these red dots there are other numbers. So there you see 55, and here you can see, I think, 56. And so again the question is why those numbers, and I don't know if he scrubbed them out or if they've just been obscured. This one seems to be 56 on the 3 of coins or pentacles. So yeah, I did some digging and I have discovered a number of things which I'm going to talk about quickly. So the answer to the numbering, as in why this card, why it goes 77, 73, 69, is because he numbered all the cards sequentially as Atea did before him. So Atea numbered the cards sequentially along the suit. So the 3 of coins was 75, the 4 of coins 74, and the numbers go down. So it starts with the kings in each suit and goes up to the ace. So that's why the Ace of Coins in Atea is 77. It's the last card in the deck because the Fool is 0. So that's the numbering system. And Eliphas Levi does something very similar, but instead of starting with, I can't remember which suit, I think he starts with, so he follows the same suit order as Atea. So I think they start with the batons. And instead of starting with number, what would it be, 22 on the king of batons, and then going up 23 for the queen, 24 for the jack, 25 for the knight, and 26 for the jack or valet. He doesn't do that. He goes across the suits. So he numbers all the kings in a row. So he numbers the king of batons would be 22 or 23, whatever the number is. The king of, and then he goes to the next king, which would be 24, and then the next king would be 25, and so the king of coins would be 26 or whatever, I can't quite remember. And then he goes to the queens and does the same thing. So that leaves us with 4 numbers between 77 and the 73, right? And then again 4 numbers between the 73 and the 69 because he's going through the other suits. Okay, so that's why there's this numbering system. And the reason he does that is because he's associating them with the Tree of Life. So in the Tree of Life, all the number 3 cards are associated with the 3rd Sephiroth, the Binah. So yeah, that's why he does them in the order that he does them, because starting from the kings, in fact the kings don't appear on the tree of life. It starts from number 10. You're going up through the tree of life, and so the counting goes up through the different Sephiroth until you end up at the Kether with the 4 aces. And that, I think, is why the numbering is the way it is, because of the tree of life correspondences for the pips 10 to ace. Okay, so that's the one solution or thing that I've understood. And I found out a lot of this information from things like comments on written by YouTube people on videos about the Eliphas Levi deck. So particularly the video by Marilyn from Tarot Clarity. There are some really useful comments there. And then also musings by Masha's video on the Eliphas Levi deck had quite a lot of really good information in the videos and in the comments. So I'm going to link those two here as well in case anyone is interested in having a look at those comments. There's some really useful stuff, and the videos, of course, the videos themselves. So, yeah, so a trip through the minors following this numbering system is a progression up the tree of life to the crown, Malkuth, the ace. The other numbers, these ones obscured by red blobs, I think relate to the 72 names of God, which was another kind of aspect of Eliphas Levi's system of correspondences. But the only table I've found that sort of demonstrates these links seems to be out by 1, which is really weird. So, for example, you've got, where are we? So this one here, the ace is 56, okay? And then the 2 is 55. And the 3, which we're looking at today, I think he did upside down for some reason, is 56. Okay, but in the tables that I've found, the 2 is 56, not the 3. And I don't know why. There's something I'm not understanding. So if you look at the 2 of Pentacles, it says 56, and then it says Hara El. Now, Hara, El is God in Hebrew. Hara is part of, it's the Shoresh, the 3 letters of part of one of the names of God, okay? And this is Hara here. Hey, Resh, Hey, in the center of the 3 of Pentacles. But here, Hara El is associated with the 2 of Pentacles, and actually Hara El is listed as 59th. So there's something I'm not getting here. Similarly, if you look at this one, 55, which is the 2 of Pentacles, 55 in this table is listed as the ace, whereas the ace is 54 actually. Yeah, I can just see that, 54. So, and 54 is listed as the 9 of Swords. So I don't know why they're off by 1. There's something that I don't understand. The planet signs also didn't line up with the Kabbalistic drawings of the Sephiroth that I've been finding on the internet. But then I discovered a new site. This site, nofaithinthehumanrace.com, which is kind of funny, and it has this little drop down here, and you can choose the different arrangements. Stop it. So the Tarot de Marseille, the Golden Dawn, Aleister Crowley, and I think most of the ones that I've been finding online are the Aleister Crowley arrangement of associations between the Sephiroth and the planets. So here, for example, you've got Keter, you've got, I've forgotten what that planet is, and then you've got the moon on the path between Keter and Binah. And here you've got Mercury on the path between Keter and Chokmah. So the paths, I think, are more important in this system than the actual Sephiroth. So with Levi's deck, we've got the sun here, and I don't know why, because the sun is here, Tippereth, down at the bottom there. And this is in the Levy system, allegedly. But then, for 2, you have got Mercury. That's Mercury, right? And that is on the path between Keter and 2. And then for the 3, you've got the moon. And the moon is on the path between Keter and 3. So it kind of makes more sense than the Crowley version, which is very different in terms of the arrangements. So yeah, there you've got Mercury between Keter and 3, and you've got an element, what's that, Earth, between Keter and Chokmah. And yeah, they didn't link at all. The moon was between 1 and 6, the Tippereth. So yeah, the Levy arrangement makes more sense here now for me when I'm looking at those associations. There's some really interesting stuff here on this site. So it says Eliphas Levi's arrangement of the tarot trumps, and I'll come to the trumps as well. Yeah, so Crowley obviously differed from Levy in how he arranged things. And the reason he did that, he said that the earlier occultists before him, this is Crowley, he said they were wrong because of the Fool position. So he said the Fool should be 1, the Aleph, I think. He also claimed to be a reincarnation of Eliphas Levi, but anyway. So yeah, there's a quote here from Crowley. Here. So he says the trumps are numbered in Roman figures in order to avoid confusion with the Arabic numbers of the Sephiroth. And it's puzzled traditional writers that these numbers should run from 0 to 21. They seem to have thought it would be proper to assume that 0 was the Fool. But they made this assumption simply because they did not know the secret doctrine of the Kabbalistic 0. They did not know elementary mathematics. They did not know that mathematicians begin the decimal scale with 0. They did not understand the meaning of the card called the Fool. They put in between the 2 cards 20 and 21, which is what Levi did. He put the Fool in the position before card number 21, and he assigned the letter Shin from the Hebrew alphabet to the Fool. And they then attributed the card number 1, the juggler, to the letter Aleph, which is exactly what Levi did. In this simple yet ingenious manner, they got the attribution of every card except 21 wrong. And that was Crowley. But other people followed Levi's system, including Oswald Worth, and he followed Levi's system quite closely. So there you've got Aleph assigned to the magician, and I'll come back to that in a minute because there's something quite interesting relating to the associations of the minors. So yeah, I'm going to wait and see, basically, before I get myself too confused. I'm going to wait and see how the meanings line up with the with the majors particularly, but obviously that's only at the end of the Drop 'em 78 challenge. But meanwhile, how the meanings line up within the minors. So, for example, the sun at the crown, the ace, makes sense to me. And then, yeah, and if you line these up with the majors, you have the sun associated with the magician, which isn't actually Levy's association. He associates the magician with Mercury. And again, so they're out by one. It's a bit weird. The 2 is associated with Mercury, whereas the 2, the High Priestess in Levy's deck, or the Popess, is associated with the moon. So again, it seems to be out by one, whereas the 3 of coins is associated with the moon. But the 3 lining up with the moon, linking to the Empress, actually kind of makes sense in Oswald Worth's deck, because there the Empress has her foot on the crescent moon. And in this card today that we're looking at, it's also, the moon is linked with Osiris, who was apparently a god of the moon, among other things. So that's quite interesting. Yeah, but there's something I don't understand about his numbering. It's like things are off by 1, and I don't know why, but maybe I will find out more about why as we go through this amazingly interesting deck. Now, to get to the actual card of the day, so it's the 3 of Pentacles. So at the top here we have l'intelligence, Hebrew, and he's shortened that, but that's Hebraic, the Hebrew intelligence, troisième Sephiroth, the 3rd Sephiroth. And so that's an association with intelligence for the 3rd Sephiroth. And the 3rd Sephiroth links to Binah, as I've said, and that's the 3rd Sephiroth. And that Binah is usually translated as understanding, but in some places, in Bible Hub, for example, they've given a translation from the Hebrew as intellectual discernment, moral insight, and being able to grasp the implications of truth, which actually, if you look at some interpretations of the Empress, as Empress is considered intellectual in some readings. So, you know, the High Priestess as intuition and the Empress as more intellect. So that's also quite interesting. Lucrum, that word there, I think that means lucrum, means profit. Yeah, we've got the moon. I've talked about the numbers. And then I've talked about this as one of the names of God, the 59th name. And then we've got here Moi Auroris, I think, or Mors Auroris. Anyway, it's something to do with Moi Auroris translates as moon of dawn. So there's something about the moon, I think is Auroris. Yeah. So it's something to do with the moon, dawn of the moon. I'm not quite sure. And then we've got Fortuna here. So that's the goddess Fortuna, or fortune, or luck. And then this took me a little while to read, but what I think it says is Imperatrice. I'm not quite sure what that second word is. Se or something says Mater Industria Numi. So in Latin, that seems to mean the Mater Industria, the Imperatrice is empress, Mater mother, and Industria Numi is energy of money. So it's something to do with the empress mother and the industry or energy of money, which relates to the coins and then across to the Empress Major Arcana. So again, very interesting. That's it for now, and I'll be back tomorrow with the 4 of coins. And thanks for watching. Bye.